The morning silence of Brooklyn filled our small apartment kitchen with the aroma of coffee. It was 7:30 and I, Grace, sat at the table reviewing a client's graphic design project on my laptop. Pencil in my hand danced across sketches on paper as the clatter of dishes from the kitchen pulled me back to reality. My son Noah, 10 years old, was pouring cereal into a bowl for breakfast. "Mom, we're low on milk," he said, his voice sleepy but sweet. I looked up at him, curly brown hair, his father's blue eyes. I smiled. "We'll go to the store today, okay?" I said, my tone warm with maternal affection. Every moment with Noah was the best part of my life. I'd raised him alone since my ex-husband David left us when Noah was 2. One morning, he'd packed a suitcase and gone to California. "I need a fresh start," he'd said, shutting the door behind him. That day, something inside me broke, but Noah's tiny hands kept me standing. Now, in this gray city of New York, we had a small but cozy home. I worked freelance as a graphic designer, from home on my own schedule. My clients were local businesses, logos, brochures, sometimes a cafe menu. Pay didn't promise luxury, but it covered rent, sent Noah to school, and put food on our table. That was enough for me. That morning, before Noah left for school, I checked his homework. His math problems were solved, a little star drawn in the corner, for me. "Good job," I said, ruffling his hair. "Need help with history?" He shook his head. "Later, Mom." After school. I walked him to the door, adjusting his backpack. "Be careful," I said. He grinned, "I always am," and dashed down the apartment stairs. When I closed the door, a peace settled inside me. Noah was my world. But that peace was shadowed every time I dealt with my family. My mother, Elena, lived in a luxurious Manhattan apartment. Since my father's death, her pension and savings kept her comfortable. My older sister, Sofia, was the golden child, beautiful, social, always the center of attention. Me? To Elena, I was practical but boring. Sofia's successes, her engagement, her friends, were a triumph in Mom's eyes. My single motherhood was a failure. "Grace, why don't you find someone?" she'd say in every phone call. "No one needs a father." I wouldn't respond because I knew she didn't understand my life. Noah didn't need a father. He needed me, his mother. Last week, Elena had called about Sofia's wedding. Sofia's marrying Marco. "It'll be a big day," she'd said, her voice trembling with pride. Marco, an Italian lawyer from a wealthy family. "Of course I'll come," I'd said, but a weight settled inside me. "Bring Noah," she'd added, though her hesitation was clear. "But make sure he behaves." Noah was always well-mannered, but for Mom, that wasn't enough. Sofia's wedding was her stage, and I was an unwanted extra in it. That day, after finishing my work and picking Noah up from school, we stopped by the store. We got milk and his favorite chocolate cookies. Back home, I helped him with his homework at the kitchen table. "Mom, why doesn't Grandma like me much?" he asked suddenly, his pencil pausing. My heart ached. "She likes you," I said, not wanting to lie fully, "but sometimes she doesn't show it." Noah nodded, though a hint of sadness lingered in his eyes. In that moment, a resolve grew within me. My family's disdain didn't matter. Noah and I were enough in our little world. But Sofia's wedding would test that world, and I wasn't sure if I was ready. In our Brooklyn apartment kitchen, Noah and I were eating dinner when my phone buzzed on the table. Elena's name flashed on the screen. I set my fork down, hesitated, then answered. "Grace, how are you?" she said, her voice controlled but hinting at something more. "I'm fine, Mom." "You?" I replied, winking at Noah. He grinned, twirling spaghetti around his fork. "I'm good," she said, then got to the point. "I want you to come over this weekend. Sofia and Marco will be here. We'll discuss wedding details." Unease stirred inside me. Sure, we'll come, I said, though my reluctance was audible. Good, she replied. But make sure Noah's quiet. Don't let him interrupt Sofia's plans. When I hung up, Noah looked at me. Grandma, he asked. Yeah, I said, smiling. We're going to our place this weekend. Sofia will be there too. Noah frowned. They don't really like me, do they? My heart sank. That a 10-year-old could sense this much both proud and pained me. They like you, I said, a half-lie. They're just different. Elena and Sofia loved their own world, not me or my son who didn't fit into it. That weekend, Noah and I headed to Manhattan to Mom's place. The subway ride was quiet. Noah stared out the window while I tried to quell my nerves. Elena's apartment in the Upper East Side was pristine, gleaming marble floors, expensive paintings, everything perfect. She greeted us with a cool smile. Grace, Noah, you're not late, she said, a slight reproach in her tone. I wore a simple sweater and jeans. Noah had on his favorite blue sweatshirt. Her eyes flicked over our clothes, but she said nothing. Inside, Sofia and Marco sat in the living room. Sofia was stunning as always, dark brown hair in waves, wearing a silk blouse. Marco, tall, dark-eyed in a suit, was Elena's perfect son-in-law incarnate. Grace, Sofia said, standing to give me a fake cheek kiss. Noah, you've grown, she added, though her eyes lingered on me. Thanks, I said, forcing a smile. Marco shook my hand. Nice to meet you, he said, his voice polite but distant. At the dinner table, Elena and Sofia dove into wedding plans. The wedding's at a Long Island country club, Sofia said, her voice brimming with excitement. Marco's family is handling everything. It'll be elegant. Elena nodded, beaming. Marco's family is so generous. They want the best for Sofia. I stayed silent, pushing mashed potatoes around my plate. Noah sat beside me, eating quietly, taking Elena's be quiet warning seriously. Then the focus shifted to me. Grace, what have you been up to? Elena asked, raising an eyebrow. Same old, I said. Graphic design jobs, taking care of Noah. Sofia smiled, but it was sharp. Still working from home? Must be tough all alone. The emphasis on alone stung. I manage, I said, keeping my tone even. Elena sighed. If only you'd find someone, Grace. No one needs a father. My fork froze. No one needs me, I said firmly. Table went quiet. Anger flared inside me, but I held it back. Elena and Sofia were always like this. Sofia's triumphs exalted, my life diminished. Marco broke the silence. Noah's a well-behaved kid, trying to lighten the mood, but Elena quickly changed the subject. Sofia, tell us how gorgeous your dress will be. Throughout dinner, Noah and I were invisible. On the subway home, Noah held my hand. Mom, I'm happy with you, he said. My eyes welled up. My family might not see me, but Noah did, and that was worth everything. In our Brooklyn apartment living room, I sank into the couch, a cup of herbal tea in hand. Steam rose to my face as my mind lingered on last weekend's dinner at Mom's. Elena's "no one needs a father" comment kept jabbing at me. Their endless talk of Sofia's wedding had left me feeling sidelined, again. Lost in thought, the doorbell rang. I'll get it, Noah shouted, racing to the door. It was the mailman, holding a cream-colored envelope. Noah handed it to me. Mom, looks important, he said, eyes wide with curiosity. Opening it, I found Sofia's wedding invitation. Gold letters read, Sofia Bianchi and Marco Rossi unite on April 15, 2025. A Long Island country club, an afternoon ceremony. Beneath, a handwritten note. Grace and Noah, we expect you. Elena. Mom's script, short, formal, somehow cold. Noah sat beside me. Are we going to the wedding? He asked. I don't know, I said honestly. Do you want to? He nodded. Yeah, it'd be fun. I want to see Aunt Sophia's dress. I smiled, but a heaviness settled inside. That night, after Noah slept, I sat at the kitchen table, the invitation before me. My fingers traced the gold letters. I didn't want to go. Face Elena's snide remarks, Sofia's fake smiles, the family's dismissal again. But Noah's excitement, the innocent light in his eyes, stopped me. Did I want to shield him from this family or prove something despite them? Conflict raged within. My family always saw me as lacking, single mom, abandoned by David, overshadowed by Sofia. But I'd built my own world with Noah, small but real. Next morning at breakfast, I asked Noah, "Should we go to the wedding?" His eyes lit up. Yes. We can dance, right? I laughed. Of course, I'll dance with you. I'd decided I had to go. Not for Elena or Sofia, but for Noah and maybe for myself, to show I could stand tall despite them. I grabbed my phone, texted Elena. We'll come to the wedding. Noah's excited. Her reply was swift. Good. Wear something appropriate, though. The though twisted my stomach. Mom always found a but. That day, I tried focusing on work. I designed a cafe menu on my laptop, but my mind was on the wedding. That dinner at Elena's replayed. Sofia praised me, belittled. The wedding would be that magnified, I knew. Relatives would ask, Grace still alone? Sofia would shine in her gown, Elena would brim with pride. Noah and I would fade into the background. But this time could be different, a resolve grew within. Their disdain didn't define my worth. Every moment with Noah proved that. That evening, sitting with Noah on the couch, he asked, What'll you wear to the wedding? I don't know, I said. Maybe I'll get a new dress. Look pretty, Mom, he said, resting his head on my shoulder. You always do. My eyes welled up, but I didn't cry. Noah's love was a shield against my family's coldness. In that moment, I realized going to the wedding wasn't a battle, it was a stance. Elena and Sofia might dismiss me, but I was Grace, Noah's mom, master of my own life. The invitation sat on the table, gold letters gleaming. I was determined to go, but this would be my triumph, not theirs. The wedding invitation sat on our kitchen table like a reminder. Brooklyn's gray morning light filtered through the window as I sipped coffee and packed Noah's school bag. April 15th was a week away, and I felt a strange mix, excitement, dread, and an odd determination. Elena's "Wear something appropriate" text looped in my mind. Appropriate for what? Sofia's wedding would be all glamour, designer dresses, sparkling jewelry. My wardrobe was sweaters and jeans. But this time, I wanted something for myself. After Noah left for school, I shut my laptop and hit Brooklyn's streets. The air was cool, but spring's first signs peeked from branches. A few blocks away, a boutique caught my eye, an emerald green dress in the window. Off-shoulder, knee-length, simple yet elegant. Inside, the elderly shopkeeper said, "That'd look great on you," with a smile. Trying it on, I faced the mirror. Tired eyes, messy hair, but the dress gave me a spark. "I'll take it," I said, no hesitation. For once, Grace, the practical suit-making Grace, was going to shine. Back home, I picked Noah up from school. I showed him the dress. "I'll wear this to the wedding," I said, dangling the bag. His eyes lit up. "It's beautiful, Mom." "What about me?" I laughed. "We'll find you something too." That night, we dug through his closet, a blue shirt, black pants. "I'll look sharp," he said, holding the shirt up. His excitement eased my tension. The wedding might be Elena and Sofia's stage, but Noah and I were part of it, writing our own story. Preparations didn't stop at clothes. That week, I finished work early, delivered a client's brochure, sketched a logo. My mind was on the wedding, but my hands found peace in work. I'd promised Noah we'd do something before the big day. Friday night, I took him to our favorite Brooklyn pizzeria. A small place with wooden tables, pepperoni scent in the air. "We'll dance at the wedding, right?" he asked, mouth full of cheese. "We will," I said, laughing. "I'll teach you some moves." For a moment, the wedding's weight lifted. Noah's simple joys were worth everything. But unease lingered. Elena's voice, "Noah needs a father," echoed. Sofia's sharp smile, relatives' prying eyes, I'd face them all at the wedding. The emerald green dress was my armor, yet I felt exposed. After Noah slept, I sat on the couch, staring at the invitation. Sofia and Marco's names glowed in gold. They were Elena's victory, I was her mistake. But I wasn't a mistake. My life with Noah was a success they couldn't see. Saturday morning, we got our hair done. Mine in soft waves, Noah's curls tamed. In the mirror we stood. Him in his blue shirt, me in my green dress. "We look good," he said, grinning. "Yes, we do," I said, hugging him. A resolve grew within. The wedding might be a chance for Elena and Sofia to belittle me, but I wouldn't let it. I'd hold Noah's hand, head high. I wouldn't be a shadow on their stage. I'd carry my own light. The wedding day neared. My dress hung ready, Noah's shirt ironed. We were set. But was I truly ready? Heading to Long Island, a voice whispered inside, "This is your test, Grace." And it was. My family might overlook me, but I saw myself, with Noah in my own strength. The wedding day stretched from Brooklyn to Long Island, kissed by spring's first warmth. Noah and I drove in a rented car, I at the wheel, him in the passenger seat. His blue shirt crisp, hair neat, he looked like a little gentleman. My emerald green dress, draped under a jacket on the seat, was slightly creased, but I didn't mind. A soft pop song played on the radio as Noah gazed out the window. "Mom, it's so pretty here," he said. Rolling fields, greenery, the ocean in the distance, yes, it was. But tension knotted my stomach. We reached the Long Island Country Club around 4. The venue was a dream, white arbors, tables adorned with roses, luxury everywhere. Parked, turned to Noah. "Ready?" I said, smoothing his hair. "Yeah, I'll dance with you," he said, beaming. His cheer cracked my anxiety. We stepped out, hand in hand. My dress swayed in the breeze. I felt strong, though fragile. The entrance, Elena waited. In a black cocktail dress with pearls, she was impeccable as ever. "Grace, Noah, you're finally here," she said, a hint of reproach in her tone. Her eyes scanned my dress, brows lifting. "Green, huh?" "Interesting," she said, not a compliment. "I liked it," I replied, voice steady. She glanced at Noah. "Nice shirt," she said curtly. She ushered us in. "Sofia's in the bridal suite. You'll meet Marco," she added. Inside, laughter and clinking champagne glasses filled the air. Guests milled about in suits and gowns. Sofia's friends, tall, slender women, giggled in a corner. Marco's Italian family, wealthy and loud, sat at tables. Noah squeezed my hand. "Lots of people," he said, a bit shy. "It's okay," I said, hugging him. "We're here together." His presence anchored me in the crowd. Elena led us to a table. "You'll sit here," she said, then hurried off to Sofia. A few distant relatives sat there, Aunt Lucia and Cousin Carlo. Lucia saw me. "Grace, you've lost weight," she said, her eyes critical. "Thanks," I said, smiling thinly. Carlo eyed Noah. "This your son?" "Where's his dad?" I froze, anger rising. "He doesn't have one," I said sharply. "Noah and I are enough." Carlo raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Lucia added, "Oh sure, single motherhood must be tough," her pity fake. I clenched my teeth, stayed silent. Then Sofia emerged from the bridal suite. Her white gown trailed the floor, a tulle veil atop her head, flowers in hand. The room hushed, eyes on her. Elena rushed over. "You look stunning," she said, voice trembling with pride. Marco stood beside her, tall, charismatic in a black tux. Sofia turned to me. "Grace, you came," she said, her smile forced. "Of course," I said, nudging Noah forward. "Noah's here too." She nodded. "Hi, Noah," but her gaze shifted to Marco. Elena said, "Let's get ready for photos," pulling Sofia away. Noah and I sat at our table, the noise swelling around us as I withdrew inward. Lucia's single motherhood jab looped in my mind. But Noah took my hand. "Mom, when do we dance?" he asked. I smiled. "Soon," I said. In that moment, I remembered why I'd come, for Noah and for myself. My family might belittle me, but I was here, in my emerald green dress with my son head high. The Long Island Country Club, the wedding ceremony ended and the reception began. Tables under arbors gleamed with white linens and crystal glasses. A jazz band played softly as guests mingled with laughter. Noah and I sat at our table. He poked at chicken nuggets while I held a champagne flute, more to occupy my hands than to drink. My emerald green dress felt like a shield on my shoulders, but the growing unease pierced it. Elena and Sofia were the center of the crowd. Everyone adored them, and I, as always, was in the shadows. After the ceremony, Sofia and Marco had their first dance. Her gown's train glided across the floor, his tux reflecting the lights. Elena stood nearby, clapping with pride. Noah watched. "They danced so well," he said, eyes bright. "Yeah," I said, smiling. "We'll dance like that too." But then Aunt Lucia and Carlo approached. "Grace," Lucia said, her voice sweet but cutting. "Sofia looks amazing, doesn't she?" "A real princess." I nodded. "Yes, she's beautiful." Carlo grinned. "Of course, marrying a guy like Marco. You never got that chance, huh?" His words stabbed like a knife. I set the flute down, hands trembling. "I don't need that chance," I said, voice steady but sharp. Lucia laughed. "Oh, Grace, don't take it personally. Single motherhood's tough, we know. Raising Noah alone, not easy." Noah looked up, frowning. "My mom's a great mom," he said, small but firm. Lucia's smile froze. "Of course, sweetie," she said, but her eyes turned to me, mocking, dismissive. Then Elena joined us. "Grace, why aren't you on the dance floor?" she asked, but it wasn't an invitation, a critique. "We're sitting with Noah," I said, touching his shoulder. She sighed. "Fine, but watch Sofia. So graceful." My eyes flicked to Sofia, laughing with Marco in the crowd. She was lovely, yes, but Elena's words pushed me aside. "Grace," Lucia said, lowering her voice, "Sofia's getting married and you're still, well, like used goods, right?" Carlo burst out laughing. Elena frowned but said nothing. Her silence hurt more. A storm raged inside me. Used goods. The phrase echoed, squeezing my heart. Noah grabbed my hand. "Mom, did they say something?" he asked, worried. "No, honey," I lied. "It's nothing." But it was everything. My family saw me as a failure. David leaving, me alone with Noah, a stain in their eyes. Sofia's perfect life cast mine into shadow. I clenched my jaw, eyes welling, but I didn't cry. I wouldn't look weak in front of Noah. The band struck up another tune, and Elena said, "Come, let's celebrate Sofia," pulling Lucia and Carlo away. We were alone at the table. Noah asked, "Mom, are you sad?" his blue eyes searching mine. "A little," I admitted. "But I'm okay with you." He smiled. "I'm okay with you too." For a moment, my anger eased. My family could belittle me, but Noah saw me, the real me. "Wanna dance?" I said, taking his hand. "Yes," he said, eager. We walked to the dance floor, hand in hand. The music picked up and we spun in small steps. His laughter drowned out the club's noise. Elena and Sofia chatted with guests in a corner. They didn't even notice us. But that didn't matter. Lucia's used goods stung, but Noah's joy dulled it. My family could push me aside, but I was here, in my emerald dress, with my son, my strength. As we danced, a voice whispered within, "They can't break you, Grace." And they couldn't, not with Noah by my side. The drive back to Brooklyn from Long Island was quiet. Noah slept in the passenger seat, head against the window, his blue shirt rumpled. My emerald dress bunched at my knees, no longer a shield, just fabric. Lucia's used goods, Elena's silent approval, Carlo's laughter, they looped in my mind. I gripped the steering wheel, a lump rising in my throat. Tears slid down my cheeks, but I kept them silent so Noah wouldn't wake. At home, past 11, I carried Noah to bed, tucking him in. His blue eyes closed, he looked like an angel, untouched by the wedding's barbs. In the kitchen, I filled a glass of water but only wet my hands. I washed my face, looked in the mirror, red eyes, streaked makeup. "Used goods," I said to my reflection. The word hurt even as I spoke it. Did my family really see me this way? A shadow to Sofia, a leftover from David's departure? I couldn't face this alone. I grabbed my phone, called Jessica, my closest friend. Despite the hour, she'd always been there. She answered on the second ring. "Grace? You okay?" Her concern warmed me. "I was at the wedding," I said, voice shaky. "My family, they said awful things." She paused then. "What did they say?" Soft but firm. I spilled it all, Lucia's mockery, Elena's coldness, Sofia's fake smile. "They call me used goods, Jess." "Mom didn't stop them." Jessica sighed. "Grace, that's disgusting. They don't know you. Labeling you like that, it's their problem, not yours." Tears welled again, but these were relief. "I know," I said, "but it still hurts. Sofia's the golden child. I'm a mistake." Her voice hardened. "You're not a mistake. You raised Noah alone, built your business. If they can't see that, they're blind. Sofia's wedding doesn't define your worth." I went quiet, her words sinking in. She was right, but why did it still feel so heavy? "We danced, Noah and I said, voice softening. For a moment, I forgot everything. I could feel her smile. "That's it, Grace. Noah's your strength. They can belittle you, but he loves you, the real you." I nodded, as if she could see. "Jess, I don't know what to do. How do I face them?" She paused. "You don't have to. You're living your life. You don't need their approval to be valuable." Something shifted inside, small but real. After hanging up, I sat at the kitchen table. Brooklyn's streetlights flickered outside. Jessica's words looped. "Noah's your strength." She was right. The wedding's jabs had wounded me, but not broken me. Dancing with Noah had erased Lucia's words. Elena's chill, Sofia's perfection, they didn't define my life. I was Grace, Noah's mom, carving my own path. In bed, I closed my eyes. The wedding had been a battlefield, but I'd stood firm. Jessica's support reignited a fire within. My family might diminish me, but I saw myself. Noah's love, Jessica's words, they were my shield. Before sleep, a voice whispered, "You're enough, Grace." And maybe for the first time I believed it. The wedding was over, but my story was just beginning. The morning after the wedding, Brooklyn's gray sky cast a pale light through our apartment windows. Waking up, I hung my emerald dress on a hanger. The wedding's traces lingered, but I wanted to leave it behind. In the kitchen, Noah was already up, munching cereal at the table. "Morning, Mom," he said, mouth full, grinning. "Morning, sweetie," I said, hugging him and ruffling his hair. Lucia's used goods, Elena's coldness, they still haunted me, but Noah's smile dulled the pain for a moment. That day, I set work aside. No laptop, no client emails, just Noah. What should we do today? I asked, sipping coffee. His eyes lit up. Park? We can swing. I laughed. Okay, park day it is. We got ready fast. Noah in his blue sweatshirt, me in a sweater and jeans. The wedding's polished grace was gone. Now I was just Noah's mom, and that felt truer than anything. Prospect Park, the air was cool, but sun peeked through clouds. Noah raced to the swings. Push me, Mom, he shouted. I stood behind him, his little hands gripping the ropes as I pushed. His laughter filled the park's quiet. Each faster lightened my burden. Lucia's mocking tone, Elena's distant gaze, they faded with Noah's joy. As he swung, he said, I had fun at the wedding. Surprised, I asked, really? Yeah, we danced, he said. My eyes welled up. The wedding had been a war zone for me, mockery, belittlement, my family's dismissal. But for Noah, it was a dance, a simple, happy moment with his mom. I love dancing with you too, I said, voice soft. He stopped the swing, hugged me. You're the best, Mom, he said, arms around my neck. My heart tightened, not from pain, from love. His words pulled every barb my family had thrown. After the park, we grabbed ice cream on the way home. Chocolate smeared his lips as he asked, Why does Grandma always praise Aunt Sofia? Question hit like a punch. I paused, then said, I don't know, honey. Sometimes people notice some things more. He frowned, but you're great too. You work, you take care of me. I smiled. You noticing is enough, I said. In that moment, a truth settled. My family didn't see me, but Noah did. Back home, we curled up on the couch, watching cartoons. Noah rested his head on my shoulder. Mom, you were sad at the wedding, right? He asked, voice gentle. Startled, I said, You noticed? He nodded. Yeah, but you smiled when we danced. I hugged him tight. I always smile with you, I said. My 10-year-old saw more than my family ever had. The wedding's barbs lingered, but Noah's love was a balm. That night, after he slept, I sat in the kitchen with my coffee. The wedding had been a mirror, how my family saw me, how I saw myself. They thought me used, but in Noah's eyes, I was a hero. Motherhood gave me strength, quiet, deep. My family could belittle me, but this world with Noah was beyond their reach. As Brooklyn's lights flickered outside, a voice whispered, You're enough, Grace. This time I listened. Days after the wedding, life in our Brooklyn apartment settled into a calm rhythm. Noah went to school, I buried myself in work, graphic design, sketches, client emails. Lucia's used goods, Elena's chill still shadowed my mind, but Noah's moments with me slowly dispelled them. That morning, brewing coffee in the kitchen, my phone rang. An unknown number. I answered hesitantly, Hello? The voice was familiar, unexpected, Marco, Sofia's new husband. Grace, it's Marco. Hope I'm not bothering you. Shock made me fumble. My coffee cup clinked on the table. No, not at all, I said, voice shaky. How are you? Marco's tone was calm, kind, far from the tuxedoed figure at the wedding. I'm good, thanks, I said. This might seem odd, he said, pausing, but you've been on my mind since the wedding. I noticed you and Noah. My heart raced. I didn't know what to say. Noticed us? I said faintly. Yeah, he replied. I saw how your family treated you, and how you were with Noah. I wanted to tell you something. I held my breath, silent. He went on, Grace, you're a strong woman. Raising Noah alone, your work, standing tall, it's incredible. Sofia mentioned you, but I saw your family doesn't see you. You don't deserve that. His words crashed over me like a wave. Marco, Sofia's perfect husband, Elena's prized son-in-law, saw me. Thank you, I said, voice trembling. I didn't expect this. He chuckled. Honestly, I didn't expect to say it. But watching you dance with Noah, that happiness, I admire you, Grace. Hanging up, I sat at the kitchen table. My hands still shook, not from anger but from surprise and a strange relief. Marco's words were an antidote to the wedding's barbs. My family had dismissed me, but a stranger, Sofia's husband, had seen me. Those moments with Noah meant something not just to me but to others. A quiet pride swelled, small but real. Picking Noah up from school, I told him about Marco's call. "Aunt Sofia's husband?" he said, eyes wide. "Yeah," I said, smiling. "He noticed us at the wedding. Liked our dance." Noah grinned. "Because we danced great." I laughed. "Yeah, we did." Walking home, his backpack in one hand, his small hand in the other, I felt lighter. Marco's support was an unexpected gift, praise my family never gave from an outsider's eyes. That night, as Noah did homework, I sat on the couch, lost in thought. Marco's call reshaped the wedding scars. Lucia's mockery, Elena's distance, they still stung, but his words soothed them. "You're a strong woman." The phrase looped in my mind. My family saw me as used, but Marco saw my strength, my life with Noah, my quiet resilience. I vowed to myself my family wouldn't define me. I was Grace, Noah's mom, forging my own path. In bed, Brooklyn's streetlights filtered through the window. Marco's support lit a fire within, small, steady. My family might keep me in shadow, but I carried my own light. Noah's love, Jessica's friendship, now Marco's unexpected nod, they were my shields. The wedding was a test and I'd passed on my terms. A voice whispered, "You're enough, Grace." This time I believed it. A week after the wedding, life in our Brooklyn apartment flowed calmly. Mornings, I sent Noah to school, then sipped coffee over my designs. The emerald dress hung in my closet, a memory that had changed me. Lucia's used goods, Elena's coldness, Sofia's fake smile, they lingered but no longer defined me. Noah's love, Jessica's support, Marco's unexpected praise, they were my new truth. The wedding had been a battlefield, but I'd stood tall with my own strength. One evening, sitting with Noah in the kitchen, he said, "Mom, you've been smiling more since the wedding." Crumbs on his lips from a cookie. Surprised, I set my coffee down. "Have I?" He nodded. "Yeah, I think you're happy." I smiled, hugged him. "I'm always happy with you," I said. It hit me, Noah was right. The wedding had wounded me, but it clarified something. My family could belittle me, but I'd found myself. This little world with Noah needed no approval. That weekend, Noah and I went to Prospect Park. Spring had fully arrived, green grass, blooming flowers. We swung on the swings, ate ice cream, watched ducks on the lake. As Noah ran, he said, "Mom, this is our place, right?" "Yes," I said, laughing. "Our place." In that moment, the wedding's barbs vanished. Elena and Sofia could live in their world. Mine was here with Noah in Brooklyn's simple beauty. One day, I found a letter from Elena in the mailbox. Opening it, a short note. "Grace, thanks for coming to the wedding." Sofia was thrilled. Below, a photo, Sofia and Marco, gown and tux, smiling. No invitation to celebrate, just formality. I set it on the table, waiting for anger, but it didn't come. Elena's cold thanks didn't faze me. Her approval meant nothing now. I looked at the photo, Sofia radiant, Marco charming. But I didn't need to be in that scene. That evening, I invited Jessica for coffee. In our kitchen, I told her everything. Marco's call, Noah's moments, Elena's letter. "Grace," she said, holding her mug, "you've changed. Your family can't drag you down anymore." She was right. The wedding had been a mirror, how they saw me, how I saw myself. They thought me used, but I was Noah's mom, strong, independent, carving my path. "I don't need them to see me," I said, voice firm. Jessica smiled. "Good. Because you're enough." After Noah slept, I sat on the couch, lost in thought. The wedding was a test I'd passed. Lucia's mockery, Elena's distance, Sofia's perfection, their truth. Mine was Noah's laugh, Jessica's friendship, Marco's nod. My family could shadow me, but I carried my light. In bed, Brooklyn's streetlights streamed in. Calm settled, quiet deep. "You're enough, Grace," I told myself. This time, I truly believed it. My life wasn't in Elena's or Sofia's shadow anymore. Each day with Noah was a fresh start, swings, cookies, ducks. My family might belittle me, but I saw myself, in my emerald dress, holding Noah's hand head high. The wedding closed, not their triumph but mine. And that was the sweetest reflection.